Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Sadashivashamarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Sakhana Bhavatu Sakhanau Punaktu Sakabhiryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vadidamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om Tat Sat. Good morning. So we started in the last session an introduction to Upanishads. Upanishad is the core part of Vedanta. We'll have just a recap on this, and then we will try to complete the introduction today. And if time permits, we enter into Isavasya Upanishad. Vedantam is essential to mankind because it addresses the most fundamental problems in our life. That problem is very inherent in our nature. Therefore, if you rectify that problem, everything else falls into place. What is the problem? Why it is inherent? How does Vedanta resolve it? Now, these three questions should come to mind if and only if we have Shraddha in Vedas. Because Veda means to know. It is an instruction that we must know. Why we must know? Because the inherent problem that I just now mentioned is a problem of perception. It's a problem of context, problem of knowing who is who, what is what. In other words, misunderstanding oneself and the relationship with the world. Now, this is such a tall climb. How can it be such an inherent flaw in all the human beings? Nobody talked about it. How can Vedanta talks about it? What is that flaw? Well, that flaw is a flaw if your motive is to find the truth and to get liberated. It is immaterial if it is not that goal of your life, that you are able to go through the cycle of pain and the pleasure. If you enjoy both, you don't need Vedanta, because then you enjoy it. But we don't say in the same breath that I enjoy Sukham, that I also enjoy the pain. We don't see that. See, Dukkha Nivritti, the opposite is not Sukha Prapti. No, we normally say that, right? Dukkha Nivritti opposite is peace. There is no Dukkha. Sukha Prapti opposite is peace. Because Dukkham and Sukham are the two endpoints of the oscillating mind. Neither is permanent. It goes there, stays, comes back, and the Sukham is finished. It is driving down towards the Dukkham. The Dukkham is finished, peace, and then go towards the Sukham. So this central point is a tranquility, the balance, the peace is what we call it Shanti. That is what we actually look for. That Shanti is Anantamayam. Anandam is not joy or essential pleasures. For the lack of words, we use happiness. Anandam is a bliss. It is such a feeling that you are unaffected by anything else. Neither the Sukham nor the Dukkha. Even though we don't accept it openly, if you contemplate and think through what I'm looking for is that moment of peace, moment of freedom. Because the joy of objective possessions give anxiety and excitement together. Have you not heard about people die because they won a lottery ticket? The mere joy kills them. So if you're looking for that, we are looking for it. You don't say it, we are looking for it. Therefore, the necessary thing is that fulfillment is our true nature. Like the oscillating pendulum comes back to this stationary position of tranquility, we are at the stage of peace when we are at ourselves. That is liberation, that is mukti, that is moksha. Now, why can't I be like this when I'm dealing with all these things in this world? You can. If you are, you're already a mukta, jivan mukta. But if you are not, if you are getting sufferings and grief and shallow thinking, greed, avarice, dissatisfaction, then we are in samsara. Nothing to do with your disease. Disease come and go. Body, any physical body has to go through this. So that is not samsara. So let's not really pretend that jnani will be all the time healthy. No. Body will have a natural consequences and suffering. That is not samsara. We need to find a cure. We need to take care of the body. But samsara is what we acquire in the mind to oscillate to sukham and dukkham and never rest. Now, if you really think of it, in everything we do, the mind is involved. Everything we do, we look for sukham and dukkham. When the food we eat, we look for sukham. And if you go and hungry, we go to the restaurant, the food comes in, it's not tasty, it's salty, we throw it away, get angry. Therefore, in every action that we do, if there is an inherent flaw, it becomes essential that we address this flaw. Now, what is this flaw? This flaw is not knowing the truth. The root cause is inherent because it's called avidya. Avidya means not knowing it well, not knowing it correctly. Now, answer the second question first. I'm recapping it from last class. I do not know from which time I had avidya. Since when I do not know about this particular thing? I don't know. Until you ask me, I never thought of it. So we really do not know. There's an ajnanam. Ajnanam is not knowing it. It is there since all the time. Someone sent me a question and asked from the thing. Please feel free to send if you want to ask anything that I may be able to answer it. Ignorance is not something different. Ignorance is also a thought. It's a vritti. Everything is a vritti. Andakarana vrittihi. A modification of thought. If I say, I do not know. If I say that ignorance is a thought. If you did not ask me about that particular person, I did not have ignorance about the person. No, ignorance is not that. I don't know that. But the moment you ask me, I do not know. Ignorance becomes a thought. So vritti, andhakaranam is what is creating both knowledge and the ignorance. Therefore, if there's a blemish in my lookout of this world, the blemish is coming from the mind. The mind is something which I carry all the time, not this body. When I die, this body is gone. I don't have this body. But I will have my mind. And the mind carries all my thoughts and vrittis and vasanas. I get another body. So the mind continues. Therefore, the sukha dukkham is not in the body. Sukha dukkham is in the mind. Therefore, if we die, when I die with this mind full of anguish, it is going to suffer that in the new body. So therefore, cleansing my mind becomes an important point. Okay? I need to cleanse my mind. But before I cleanse the mind, tell me, what did I think wrongly? What is my ajnana? Upanishad says, ajnanam is fine. It is natural. But Viparita Jnanam, Ajnanam is innocence, ignorance. Viparita Jnanam is misconception, misunderstanding, thinking something of something else. So Shankara uses the term Adhyasam. So there are two words we should know. Ajnanam, Adhyasam. Ajnanam is not knowing nothing. Adhyasam is knowing it wrongly. Shankara almost ignores Ajnanam, always talks about Adhyasam and Avidya in synonym. Because there are a lot of people argue they are different. One is cause, one is in effect. Yes, we don't need to go there. So misconception is what is causing the trouble, Adhyasam. Therefore, if I come to the Vedantam, somewhere the Vedantam should say, what is my Adhyasam? How do I correct it? That is what we need. Nothing to do with God, nothing to do with puja, all that. So when you come to Upanishad, you're not talking about doing a puja. The puja is Manasa puja. Sadguru is, of course, not the preacher. You see the preacher as a Sadguru in a bhavam, but Sadguru is your Atma itself, which unravels itself. To unravel it, your mind has to be pure. So when you come to these sessions of where Upanishads are discussed, Vedantam is discussed, or anything is discussed, you must be in a Shravanam mode. That means you absorb those things. It is like learning a language. Vedanta, you can just adding a loud thinking here. If I give you mathematics teaching, if I am teaching you something on a quantitative science, while teaching itself, you can ask questions because you will think, this is contradicting my thing. But Upanishad Jnana, Vedanta Jnanam is like teaching a new language. A new language is taught. You don't ask quantitative questions. You absorb. That's a rule of the game. Then you apply it. The reason I say this, Shravanam comes in, you absorb everything, but you must do Mananam. You must do Vicharam. So here Adhyasam is that you don't really know who you are. If I do not know who I am, I do not know what belongs to me. If I do not know what belongs to me very well, all the activity I do is for worrying for the wrong things. Okay. It rings a bell. We talked about it in the Tattvabodha. Okay, am I going to now say that I am not this body, mind, and all that? I heard about it many times. I cannot detach it. Upanishad says, don't detach it. Use it. Because after all, we live in this world of adhyasam. We live in the world of fallacy. What is fallacy? Fallacy is not unreal. Unreal things cannot exist anywhere. If it exists, it has got an impact. If anything impacts, it exists. But the only question is the relative existence, how far it exists in time and space. If it is not existing all the time, it's not eternal. So I need a word for it. It is real or unreal. I will not go to the dry philosophical discussion. I'll use a word what Shankara uses it called mithya. Everything is eternally real, that is satyam. Everything is relatively real and gives me impact, is mithyam. So the world is mithya. I deal with the world. Okay. Is it a flaw? Well, it's a flaw, but don't worry about it. Like a sun rises in the east, it's a flaw. Never rises. But it is good enough for me. I don't need to worry about that mistake. I don't need to go to Upanishad to correct myself. I know sun doesn't rise. It's always there. But it helps me to put a marker. What I have done, I have accepted an adhyasam. Adhyasam is viparita jnanam, misunderstanding. The misunderstanding of sun rises in the east is acceptable to me because it helps me. See, we use our ignorance to gain knowledge. Like how Arjuna was suffering delusion, shokam. What did Bhagavan said? Use this shokam to be your yogam. Your grief becomes your path to success. So we don't need to go for any new tools. Everything that happens to your life is a lesson to open up towards the truth. Therefore, Upanishad is going to say, the adhyasam or the inherent blemish I told you in you, don't worry about it. Keep it. Use it. But knowing that it is fallacy, knowing that you're going to use it every day, but you will find a way to see the truth beyond that. How can I do that? Do I have to learn some new skills? No, it is your skill. It is how you were grounded from day one. The child is born and child is looking at the whole world. We come and say, this is uncle, this is grandfather, this is friend, this is cow, this is dog. We introduce, we create all those relationships. And now one day we take them, look, that's a god. Oh, the child asks, is that the thing, egg-like shape is a god? Yeah, it's God. The tree is a god. What are we doing? We are putting adhyasam for a positive reason, because I cannot see the God, but I need to be focused towards that tattvam of God. So I need a holding place, adhyasam. This kind of a emphatic superimposition is called adhyaropam. It's a paribhasha, it's a technical term. But I like to use those terms so that it goes into mind. Adhyasam is viparita jnanam. Adhyaropam is using that misconception knowingly and superimposing on the truth in order that you use it as a means to transcend it. Like seeing God in a stone. This is adhyaropam. So then the Advaita Vedanta in particular say, everything we worship, everything we do religiously, Saguna Brahman, is adhyaropam. Like seeing snake on a rope. Are you saying that Lord Venkateshwara and Tirupati is just a stone? No, it is divinity. That's what you want to see. But you are imposing the divinity on a sculpture or a stone. It becomes divine. Like this little bit of time, what do you call it, that turmeric powder, you take it to the Ganesha Puja, you make it a Ganesha on it. It is Ganesha. It is no more a turmeric powder for the sambar. You bow out, it changes. Now, what Vedanta does, especially Advaita Vedanta, uses this very, see, all this in Vedanta sounds complex, but it uses simple example, simple things. Because Aye Adi Sulabham, says Bhagavan Maharishi. It is so easy. But it is difficult to see because it is too close to our eye. Because it is the eye. It is the eye of the eye that we are trying to see. Because it's too close, we don't see it. So that is what Upanishad is. So what is the term Upanishad means? Of course, you might have read all these things in so many ways you can define it. We just go by Shankara's word. By the way, let me give a caution now, right? I send you the text of Upanishad, Isavasya Upanishad text. We talk about Upanishad now. What is this? Is the text is Upanishad? The book is Upanishad? Is what I'm talking is Upanishad? What is Upanishad? You know, suppose you want to eat a particular sweet, say Rava Keshari, you want to eat. The Rava Keshari you want to eat and you don't know how to make. So then you find a book, it's a traditional book, Meenakshi book, you read it. It's in Tamil, Chase Tamil, and you read it and it's very, very complicated to understand. You know, it says 1 spoon sometime and a lemon size or different unit of measures. It's complicated to read. You don't understand. When you go to somebody and say, can you tell me how to make this? Somebody says, oh, you take this, do this, all this. You got kind of understanding it, how to make it, but you haven't got ability to do it. Then you go to YouTube, YouTube got a lot of channels showing you this, and you see somebody's cooking on it. Exactly, clearly you understand everything. You know how this rava kesha looks. Have you eaten it? No. You know how to do it. You know what it is. You haven't. Because you have the knowledge of what it is, but you have not anubhuti of it. To do that, you need to cook, you need to eat. To cook, I need this rava, sugar, ghee, cashew nuts, stove to make it, and everything I need, resources I need. Then I had to make it. Then I got it, but I have to eat it. Upanishad is what, when you eat, the sukham you get, the bliss you get, that is Upanishad. It is prama, jnanam. Everything else is pramanam. It's just an instrument. So right now, okay, I'm maybe giving you a cookbook lessons. Maybe I'm telling you, take this, do this. You go to Vedanta class and some great acharya teaching, you listen to it, come through. But when am I going to eat it? Because you are yearning for it, learning for it. Someday you get an opportunity, the prasad comes to you, you eat it. That, when you realize that is a moment of truth. That is Upanishad. How does it connect to this internal blemish? So, if you take the Upanishad, one way Shankara says Upani and Shat. Upani. Upa means, Upani has got a lot of, it's a prefix, it's got a lot of meaning. One meaning is nearby. Ni means nischay, guaranteed. Also, ni is coming from the nayati. Nayati means leading to, carrying to. Nayanam. Nayanam means eyes in Sanskrit. Nayanam means what? It is leading to. The mind is led by the eyes wherever it goes. Wherever the eye goes, mind goes, right? So eyes are leading your mind towards Nayati. That leads to. So Upani means for surely leading to closeness. Samibhyam. Leading what to where? Leading the Jivatma, that is you and I, towards the Paramatma. Now when I say it like this, Jivatma is somebody I am, Paramatma is something else. Somewhere it is far away. I know Paramatma is not here, it's in Vaikuntham or Kailash, too far away. And this Upanishad is going to make me closer to him. How am I going to travel? Or if I say, no, Atma is inside, you are only close by, it's not very far, but you're not doing it. So I need to travel within myself. How am I going to travel? Travel is an action, karma. But here, there is a mistake. Again, there's a blemish in it because we are objectifying everything. Distance is a scalar quantity, but when you put against the context, it is on a space and time somewhere. But here, it is the proximity, the closeness, in fact, the sameness is there, but you do not know. So the distance is not really in space and time or Vishaya, but is in the knowledge. You are not far from, in fact, you are not even different from the Paramatma, but you are distant. Vyavastha. You seem to be far away from this. So that distance needs to be closed. Now, if it is far away in space and time, I need a rocket, I need an aeroplane, I need a car, I need a motor to transport myself, or at least I need to walk. I need a karma, therefore. But here it is not in space and time or Vishaya, it is in my understanding of it, that I am the Brahman. We're going to learn later, Aham Brahmasmi. I am that one. But I don't feel that way because I am distant by this avidya, adhyasa. Therefore, how is I going to go there? If I have to travel by distance, I need to transcend the mileages, kilometers I need to travel. But if I need to go by, pass through the avidya, what do you need to do? I need to have jnanam that kills the avidya. So the second part, shad. Shad we say, but shad means destruction, removing what you don't have. Removing what? The ajnana, viparita jnana, adhyasa. So therefore it does two things. It is going to assuredly take you to the God or create the uniformity, universal consciousness within you to make you Jiva Ishvara Aikyam. To do that, it is going to kill the avidya, ajnanam, adhyasam away. How can it kill it? With what it will kill it? It will kill with jnanam. Darkness goes away by light. Therefore, what does Upanishad means? Upanishad means it is the light of knowledge that destroys the darkness of ignorance and then takes you to your true self. That is Ishvara. How do we know this? Who's thought about all these things? You remember that I told you, the Veda Vyasa is the one who compiled the eternal Vedas, Shrutis. Shruti is what you hear. The Shabda Jnanam, Shabda Brahma is always there. Like the gravity was always there. Like Newton composed into laws of gravitational force. See, in human life, what we do, in our scientific pursuits, we keep on building new lexicons for new things we observe. Never satisfied with what we have. New terms comes, artificial intelligence, machine learning, neural network, NLPs. We find ways and means of naming something because we are on a constant search. Veda Vyasa did. This Shruti needs to be now, for this Kali Yuga, cannot be handled. So he made into this 4 different Vedas. And then he made different shakas. And then he called one of his disciples, Jaimini, and told him, look, study the Vedas. This is going to be in a Shruti form. I allow you to scribe it so that people can remember in a simpler way. In other words, he asked to write Veda Sutras. You know what is Sutras? I told you before. Alpaksharam, Asandiktam, Saravat, Vishuddhomukam. Sentences which very small words with infinite meaning, code words, encoding. Do that. So Jaimini went and then he studied Vedas and then he prepared what's called a Dharma Sutra. Atahato Dharma Jignasa. Starting like that. Having learned the principles of life, follow this guidance, which is encoded in Dharma Sutra, which will lead you to good life. So Vyasa looks at it, and this was become popular, and everybody is reading through it. This kind of inquiry, but Jaimini did, reading through the Vedas, researching it, is called Mimamsa. Again, a technical term. Mimamsa means a divine inquiry. Pujya Vicharam. Inquiry is important. If you inquire physics, I do the physics inquiry. But if I start inquiring towards the truth, ultimate truth of it, it becomes a Bhujya Vichara. So Vedas are divine and Jaimini did a Vicharam, Mimamsam. But when Vyasa looked at it, he has done it only for the part which is called the Purva Kandam, about karmas and dharmas and rituals and rites and disciplines of life. Very important to life. Even Vyasa makes some bhashyam for it. And then one day he just goes and sits and starts writing. And another sutra is called Brahma Sutra. And he's writing it for Vedas, but for the Uttara Mimamsa, Uttarakanda. That means the deeper part, last part, core part, final part of Vedas. So Jaimini and his disciples think, what is happening? The Guru has told me to write and he is writing it now. So they all coming to them and say, what are you doing? I thought we already done it. No, you have missed out with the important part of the Vedas called Upanishads. It is in the part of the Aranyaka. Vedas, if you look at it the other way, it's called a mantra part called Samhitas, which was the revelations, Apurusheya. They are the one really eternal sounds. So much of encoding into this. Then that Samhita has been elaborated into Brahmanas, which are again considered to be Apurusheya. Also, some of the rishis have expanded those things. Then there is a part of the Brahmanas which goes into called Aranyakas, where it is a contemplation of very extreme adhyatmic nature, fit for those who are looking for the eternal truth, the mokshus. In the Aranyakas are the portions called Upanishads. Okay. Naturally, we'll think of a book and then section 1 to 5, 6 to 7. Unfortunately, it's not like that. You must think that sections as a logical part. Even in Mantram, there is an Upanishad called Mantra Upanishad. Like Isa Upanishad, the Mantra Upanishad. It's in the Mantram itself. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So he said, I am doing this sutras so that the Vedantas are not forgotten. I said, what is that? What is that in it? We studied everything else. We took away all those things. We call it Arthavadas, and we're basically explaining what is already said in the rituals. Varuna, Indra, Agni, in Vedic times, there is no Shiva, Vishnus. It's all these Vedic gods, Brahmans. So that's what we've done. No. In the Upanishad contains Ishvara Tattvam. Ishvara is a term that Vyasa uses. That one, Paramatma, Tattvam is there in Upanishad, which is not captured in the Dharma Sutras, which is important. See, I'm paraphrasing it. I mean, this is Vyasa did to the Jaimini, same thing Shankara says in Shankara Bhashyam, starting with to the what's called a Purva Pakshi. Purva Pakshis are normally Purva Miyamsa, Buddhas, whoever. Purva Pakshi is the naysayers in a positive way. Why you did? Why are you doing this? Arguing this? And then you answer them. And Shankara's style of writing is to bring the Purva Pakshi in front. He will ask all the questions. In fact, when you read the Purva Paksham, you will think that the opposing views were the absolutely right views. That's Shankara's Bhashyam. Then he will explain it why it is not true. So either you can take it as Shankara or Vyasa. So he says, look, yes, Ishvara Tattvam is there. He has to say this. What is this Ishvara Tattvam? And what is the use of it? They say it. And Vyasa told them that, look, the Ishvara Tattvam is the truth about Ishvara, the Paramatma. Yes. What's the use? By knowing that Tattvam, by realizing the truth about Ishvara, you get liberation, you get moksha. Is it? No. Guru, you're mistaken. We already sorted this out. We know all the Ishvara. We know all the Devatas. We know how to make them satisfied. We know how they will give us the heaven, Brahmalokam. Sorted. Moksha is going to Brahmalokam. Swarga. So everything is sorted. There is no need for that. It says, no. That is not moksha. That is an elevated state of living where you get all the luxuries of life that you wanted. Probably if you do the karmas properly, you may go to Pitarlokam and have a good life, take a new birth and come back. Or if you do with the jnanam, you do all the karmas. We will discuss it later in detail. You go to the Devalokam, Swarga and all that. But again, you'll come back. Moksha is not that. Moksha is to be eternally free from bondage. That it is not covered in the Purvabhagas Veda. It is not covered. Then everybody said, well, we have been doing all this yajna, all these things all day. Not necessary. No, they are necessary. They are very important. Because without those things, you won't even have this knowledge or a thirst of knowledge to come here. You continue with that. But that is not enough. That is necessary, but not sufficient. You need this. And he says, well, you can do that. But so far you see everything, we do the yajna, thousands of people. In Naimisharanyam, it's crowded. No, we can put a ticket to that. So many people come there. Wherever there is a puja, wherever there is a yajna, there is a katha going to Shabda, Puranas, people come there. That's what people want. After all, we are here to serve the people. Who is going to come for this? This moksha you call about. Shankara particularly says, maybe there are 4 people. He says that. Maybe there are just 4 people. But even there is one person who is looking for moksha, I must give them this knowledge. A lot of insight in this. It is very few understand the importance of Veda. Very few do the Vedic rituals, Veda niyamam, to seek good life here and hereafter. And very, very few look for liberation. And very, very, very few look for the means to get the liberation. So he said 3 reasons, right? Ishvara Tattvam is an Upanishad. Ishvara Tattvam gives you liberation. And only by Ishvara Tattvam you can do. There are people who want Ishvara. They all said, then what about karma? Don't we need karma? If it is a case, Guruji, why did you ask me to go and write Dharma Sutra? I would have just gone straight to this. Like, you remember in Gita Bhashyam when you're studying, Arjuna says, after second chapter, Bhagavan bombards him with wonderful knowledge of Vedanta. Because in the first chapter, Arjuna, such a knowledgeable man he was, and he said, Bhagavan, what are you telling me? You want me to kill people? Killing, sin, himsa. No, all this boga I don't need. I'll just go away. He did not do. Bhagavan was keeping quiet. Oh, if Arjuna can do it, he'll be my guru. Probably Bhagavan thought that. If he can give up everything else. He did not go. After speaking all this dry philosophy, he kneeled down to Bhagavan and said, tell me what I'm supposed to do. I'm crying. I'm trembling. My Kantibam has fallen down. Then Bhagavan said, okay, you asked me, you put me in a corner and telling me all the Vedantic views. I'll tell you what it is. And then he bombards him. The essence of Veda comes in the chapter 2, verse 12 to verse 25. Gita finished. Everything is there. He picks it up. Arjuna picks it up. Oh, Jnanam is the one I need. Why am I doing all this? And what is the best path to get the Jnanam? To be a sannyasi. Because that's why the only motive is to get the Jnanam. Vidya sannyasi or with sannyasi. That's what I need to do. I will take sannyasa. Thank you, Krishna. Let me take sannyasa. And Bhagavan said, no. You have no qualification at all. You cannot be a sannyasi. You just can't do it. Do karma. Same way, Shankara said to Purvabhakshis as well as Vyasa to the Jaivinis and disciples. No. Karma is important. You have to do, the world has to run through. You do the karma. But what you do, you understand the true knowledge, remove the adhyasam. Remove the adhyasam. Have the Purohitam. Doesn't matter. You can have superimposed. You can have Indras, Vayu, Agni, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. You can have all these gods. You can do all the rituals. You may get this heaven, enjoy it, but always aspire for the truth. Then you will know the karma I do will be like a karma that the sun does it, the tree does it. The tree blossoms, flowers. It doesn't have envy, jealousy, greed. It gives away. But it is there. It is not looking for moksha. It's happy. I'm blossoming here. Sun comes up. Yeah, I'm fine. So like a Jivan Mukta, you can be fine. You can be a cobbler, barber, butcher, teacher, great leader. Doesn't matter. I'm like a tree. I don't pray to God. I just do this. That is liberation. Just be like that. It cannot be like that. But to reach that stage, you cannot misstep the karma. You have to do what you need to do. But the day will come, you will be drawn into this wonderful knowledge of realization. Like what we do know, Triyambakam, Jamage, Amdi Pushti Vardhana, Urvarbhika Bandhana. How does this melon just leaves its creeper? Giving up is not you giving up. Giving up is an ego. I give up. I see you. I give up. Even that is wrong. You cannot give up. You have no right. You have no ownership of what you. My body is not mine. It's a Prakriti's body. How can I say? That's why you cannot really touch your body. You can do fastings and everything, but you cannot touch the body. Body is not yours. It's rented to you. You have to give it back as good as possible. You have to nourish it. That's why very Murga way of, some people cut their, legs and, in the penance they do in Puranas. All this are not really approved by Vedanta. You see it. So Vyasa therefore says, yes, karma needs to be there. Now, if you do this Brahma Sutram with the Dharma Sutram, he starts the Brahma Sutram with Atato Brahma Jignasa. So the first phrase, Tato itself is given 14 pages of explanation by Bhagavan Shankara. And people write about it so much. So the two pillars of Jnanam, righteous living, come from the Dharma Shastra, Purva Mimamsa. See, Advaita Vedantam has no enmity, no fight with anybody else. It absorbs everything because it builds on everything else. Yeah, you're doing karma too, you do Sandhya Vandanam too, you do puja, you do. But try to step up because start realizing that there's an adhyasam in it. Once adhyasam is removed, you still do the same thing. Like, I know sun is not rising, but I still worship sun when it rises in the east, as if it's rising. That kind of a mentality to work. So, then he made the Brahma Sutram. The Brahma Sutram has got 555 sutras. Sutras by itself is very cryptic. This is what I really like about, everybody likes about the Sanatana Dharma, because it is not dogmatic. It's not precise to that level. It is precise to the rituals. There we don't care about the precision. This is our human mind. When you come to Vedanta, when it says Nityatvam is anirvachaniyam, difficult to describe, we comply. No, these guys have lack of vocabulary. They are not sure about this knowledge. We don't like ambiguity. We want precision. But when you come to Vedic rituals, and the ritual says you shall have bath, you shall have wear this dress, you will sit in this way, we will find a way to, no, doesn't matter. In those days, those guys have nothing else to do. We come to this conclusion. It's wrong. Injection, prescription is precise. There's not a single thing that is changed in the Vedas. Heritage might have changed it. Culture might have changed it. That we need to learn from the elders. But the Vedic text remains solid. So therefore, the precision is there in the Vedanta itself. That you need to take from the Guru. So what we are doing here is like I'm showing you the cookbook of Meenakshi. Maybe I'm doing the best case or worst case, putting a YouTube video how to cook it. The anubhuti has to come from your own prayatnam of always thinking about it. It really relieves you from your daily life problems. When you always think about this, in your back of this, you will create a very subtle detachment of other things. Oh, why he didn't respect me? Why he didn't put 15 adjectives for me? It hurts me. All go away. This is adhyasam go away. Okay. So much for the thing. Now we'll take what are the Upanishad. Now there is something called Muktikopa Upanishad that lists 108 names of Upanishads. So therefore they say the 108 Upanishad, they are available in the text. Some say there are 200, some say thousands were there, they all gone. We don't need many. We just need one. In fact, I shared this before with you, and I always happy to share this again. And when I was in Rishikesh at Gita Press bookshop, great bookshop, and I'm trying to go and find a particular Upanishad, that Upanishad by this writer and something like that. And they didn't have it, and they were trying to help me out. And then one shop dealer, a very simple-looking person, he came to me and said, why are you looking for all these books? Just read Bhagavad Gita, everything is there. For me, it's a Mahavakyam. Yes, it is, everything is there. So you don't need to read, you don't need Upanishad. Everything is there in every text that you read, every shlokam, Contemplation is what it is. Jananam, Bhudakanal Shevitam, Kabita Jantu, Palasar Bhashtam, Umashudam, Shoka Vinasha Karanam. There's a hook there. Everything is description of Lord Ganesha. But Shoka Vinasha Karanam. Shoka Vinasham Karanam. Shoka means grief. Yeah, it belongs to me. Vinasham, it can go. Karanam, Ganesha. You will say, that's it. You hook on it. You think about it. Why Shokam come to me? It can be gone. Vinasham means that means it is not Anantam. Karanam, there is a means for it. See, in every sloga, every song, I can pick up any song you sing, Carnatic music song. There is one word will be there, magical word, which is waiting for you to be caressed, taken care. Like a child is trying for somebody to carry. You will look for it because that is what a seeker is all about. Seeker is who try to seek all the time. Seeker is not some sannyasi going anything. Seeker is one who seeks the truth all the time. When you not seeking, the object appears in front of you. Because truth, after all, wants to be caressed and hugged by everybody else. Truth is waiting to be taken care of. If you're looking for it, it will come. The diamond that you never see on a pebble will look now, the real diamond. So seeking is what is needed. So we don't need a lot of Upanishads, but anyway. But there are 10 or 12 Upanishads considered to be a main Upanishads. So Shankara has quoted on 10 and apparently he written on 2 more. We don't have a text on it, but he quotes 2 more. And there are a lot more Upanishads maybe added later because they don't really fit into the Upanishad description I was saying. I'm not disrespecting anything, but they have a very different context. So in Rig Veda, there is a Upanishad called Aitreya Upanishad. I will not go into detail of it. If we get a chance to study them, we can understand. Aitreya Upanishad come from the Rishi called Aitreya Maharishi. He is a son of the mother called Aitreya. It's not Rig Veda. So Aitreyam is a very important Upanishad. It contains what the Mahavakya called Prajnanam Brahma. Mahavakyam is a vakyam, is a sentence from the Vedanta, which directly gives the equation that you are no different than the God. You are the God. And this vakyam comes in different form. Upadesa vakyam, like Tatvamasi, you are that, the Guru tells you. A statement like Prajnanam Brahma in Rigveda, Anatreya, Aham Brahmasmi is Anubhavakya, like this goes. We'll go into that. So Atreya Upanishad is one Upanishad in Rigveda. Shankara has commented on it. The Yajurvedam, Rigvedam contains largely mantras and verses and songs, which is composed in certain meters and chandas and sing beautifully and chanting in Samaveda. Yajurveda contains a lot of rituals and brahmanas, but also Upanishad. And there are two parts in Yajurveda. Krishna Yajurveda, the black Yajurveda, and Shukla Yajurveda, the white Yajurveda. Don't worry about the stories behind it. So in Krishna Yajurveda, there are two Upanishads, Katha Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad. The Katha Upanishad is what very famously we know the conversation between Nachiketu and Lord Yamadharmaraja. That is that. Taittiriya Upanishad, we had a fortune of reciting and learning before. Sikshavalli, Brahmavalli, Anandavalli, and all that. It is in Yajurveda. It also talks about, it contains quite a lot of things. Taittiriya Upanishad contains prayers, benedictions, dharmavachanams, and then the Brahmajnanam. So it's mix of many things. Then there is an Upanishad called Isavasya Upanishad or Isa Upanishad. Then there's the Brihadaranya Upanishad. Don't worry about all these terms. We'll take slowly. The Isa Upanishad is called Mantra Upanishad or Samgita Upanishad. What does it mean? You remember I told you, Vedas contains mantra part, Brahmanas part, Aranyaka part. Mantra part is all these celestial songs about this truth. Isa Upanishad is coming there. So it is so special. Mantra Upanishad are very special. Normally people don't take this Upanishad as a first study because it's a bit complex in understanding of it. We'll try. So I somehow it occurred to me that maybe we should start with Isa Upanishad for two reasons. It flows well. It gives the context for other things we studied. And it's also simple. It's a smaller in size, only 18 verses. Brihadaranya Upanishad is a very, very big Upanishad. It's a Brahmana Upanishad. In fact, it is a commentary of Isa Upanishad. It's a very big Upanishad. Aham Brahmasmi Mahavakya comes into this one. Then in Samaveda, there are two Upanishads called Kena Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad. You know, Isavasya Upanishad is called Isavasya Upanishad because it said Isavasyam idam sarvam. It starts like this. So the starting sentence becomes Kenesh Dampati in Kena Upanishad. Therefore, it's called Kena Upanishad. Aitreya Upanishad because there's Aitreya Maharishi. So there are so many ways the names comes in. Then you have the Atharva Veda. Atharva Veda is Vedas which includes a lot of other interesting knowledge. It contains a lot of very interesting Upanishad. Three important ones: Prashna, Mundaka, and Mandukya. The Mundaka Upanishad is again like Isha Upanishad, a Mantra Upanishad. It's a mantra part. Mundakam is normally refers to shaving off your head. So it is for the renunciate, Nivritti Margam. Normally they say that it is for the sannyasi only. No, it's not like that. It is about Nivritti, giving up sacrifices. It's a very small Upanishad. But Prashna Upanishad is the Upanishad which is explaining the Mundaka Upanishad. It's very interesting Upanishad. This Upanishad goes like a question and answer. There are 6 disciples come with 6 questions to the sage Pippalada. Pippalada is a Maharishi. You will see a lot of Maharishis come into the picture. So we'll introduce them as and when needed so that we can read about them elsewhere. The Maharishi answers back. So that is Prashna Upanishad. Mandukya, for me, it's supremely blissful Upanishad and very, very beautiful Upanishad. Very small, But Montecchio gained a karika. Karika means a kind of a text which explained that with additional input to this by a Parama Guru of Bhagavan Shankara called Gaudapada. It's for me, it's mind-boggling. It's scintillating, enthralling karikas. He brings in what's called Ajatavada. See, all the Puranas, some of those things, all talks about the Srishti, Sthiti, Samhara. Even Vedas talk about this. Even the whole Srishti is nonsense, says Mandukya. It's not Srishti. Nothing is created. Nothing ever goes. It's frighteningly startling, it is. That's why when you are not approaching Upanishad with great reverence and respect and Shraddha, it may hurt because you don't handle it very well. Then because it decries whatever belief that we had. Very simple. It says the world is not real. When you don't understand it, you will say this science is dangerous because it will make me to reject everything in this life and I become a sannyasi. You'll afraid, then go away. Maybe there were some fraudsters like this before. Not like that. Asambat means it's not being impoverished. Like Draupadi was cooking for the Krishnas and Pandavas to come back, and the Durvasa comes there. There's nothing, no food there, nothing. And Pandavas finish eating, and then there's a little asambat. There's nothing there to give. Krishna just take one little grain of rice, he puts in his mouth, everybody get filled up. It's not renunciation. It is about everything serving you. Instead of, if I have lots of money, what I have to do? I have to keep it in the bank, security, cyber security of that security, this security, lockers, passwords, keep forgetting passwords, will writing, 10th generation. I may never spend this money, but I have been a custodian of it. The money has been ruling me. I was a servant. What I was doing in my life, 60 years I earned, 40 years I lived. After that, safekeeping it. Every day worrying about it, dying a duck every day. That is impoverished. Renunciation, I don't have anything. But this yajna need to be done, money comes in. This dharmakarya need to be done, resource comes in. Everything happens to you. That is the grace of God. You stay behind this. That's how we do. So, Nivritti Margam is not, don't worry about it. The Upanishad will not take you away. So, Mandukya Upanishad teaches you that, and Karika comes in. Shankara also mentions about Svetesvatara. Svetasvatara. It is Svetesvara or Svetasvatara Upanishad. Kaushiki Upanishad. Kaivalya Upanishad. That's very interesting one. Kaivalya Upanishad is also mentioned by Shankara. But other Upanishad, all the including Kaivalya, for example, is Shaivite takes it very, very seriously because it mentioned about Sri Rudram. It's very interesting. And I was the day which Rudram which Upanishad I should do. I was thinking about it. Then Kaivalyam take my mind. I look at the Kaivalyam, but it is about benediction of Rudra. So we are going to do Maharudram next week. So Kaivalya Upanishad, the last two mantras of Kaivalya Upanishad says, what is the benefit you get by reciting Rudra? But there you can see, it is become, in a way, a Shaguna Brahma comes in there. Maybe that's why Shankara did not elaborate, I don't know. There are a lot of other Upanishads, like Atma-Bindu Upanishad is a great Upanishad to read. If you do Atma-Bindu Upanishad, Sri Chakram, Lita Sahasranama, all that gels so beautifully. It gives you about the Paramaragashim of Bindus, Sri Chakram. But again, you can see the Upasana comes there. Jabala Upanishad about Shiva. Brahma Upanishad talks about Upanayanam. Why do you write this? All the mantras of Upanayanam come from the Brahma Upanishad. Even the mantra, you change the thread from Upanishad. Atharva Sirsha Upanishad about Lord Ganesha. Narashima Tapani Upanishad about Narashima, Narayana Upanishad. There are a lot of Upanishad there, maybe they are added later. It contains a lot of Vedantic thoughts, but submerged into the Upasanas. Take Artha Bindu Upanishad, Bindu Tattvam is there. Sri Chakram is explained. So if you are a Sri Chakra Upashaka, if you are a Shakti Upashaka, that Bindu is that Upanishad is a revelation. But even then, within that, the true import of Vedanta is there. But the 10 Upanishads Bhagavan Shankara has chosen to write Bhashyams on, or those Upanishads don't talk about any Shaguna Brahma. That's why, in my limited understanding, they are for the humanity. No matter which God you worship Saraswati, Rama, Krishna, Vaishnava, Madhva, Saiva, Nastika, Jesus, Allah, or I don't do Shagana Brahma, Nirguna Brahma, fine. These Upanishads, the 10 important Upanishads, does not prejudge you. It is about you, about us. Your adhyasam. You will learn that you don't exist on your own. You exist because you are part of the Paramatma Tattva, Ishvara Tattva. So obviously I have exhausted my time. I wanted to finish 20 minutes before, but maybe we will start next week, these Upanishads. So what we are trying to do, we will try to do, take Isa Upanishad, 18 Upanishad, Shanti Padam. Shanti Padam is a very famous Shanti Padam. We will take the Shanti Padam next class, and maybe the 1 or 2 thing. I send a text to you. My intent is, if time permits, because there are only 18 of them, so I would go through them in Vachyartham and Lakshyartham for you. Of course, there are abundance of lectures. There are great Mahatmas has given talk. Please go and listen to whatever you want to listen to, get the thing. But I'll go by my understanding of what I have learned, so that you can compare and contrast and improve. End of the day, it is for you to contemplate. If question comes in, please ping me, because the questions make me to read more, understand more, educate more myself, and also share knowledge for you. You can either put on this WhatsApp group, or you can send me a personal email, and I do. There are 2 questions came from last week, and I have not answered them. I'll answer them in the next class. So we'll stop here. This class we will use the Shanti Padam Asatoma. The next class we do the Upanishad Shanti Padam. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya.
Om Asatoma Sadgamaya.
Tamashoma Jyotirgamaya.
Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya.
Mrityoma Amardam Gamaya.
Mrityoma Amritam Gamaya.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti
Shanti.
Hari Om Tatsate.
Tatsate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And obviously there is no class tomorrow, because next week, because of the Maharudra Yajnam. So